Hiya, I'm going to quickly go over subqueries now with you and go through the first example that's in your database booklet. So, first of all, what is a subquery? Well, it's the exact same idea as you learned about at Hire, where we do a query of a query. It's just the same idea. Only when you used Microsoft Access, you can save a query and then refer to it by its saved name. In this, in MariaDB and MySQL, we can't do that, so we include the query in another query, a nested query, essentially. Why do we even use them? Well, the main reasons we use them are because we can't use aggregate functions in the where clause of any query, and so where we would have an aggregate function, we actually need the results of another query to find that, and we just use them when we don't know how many rows we're going to be referring to in the where clause, what the result set's going to be when there's an unknown there. And sometimes the temptation can be to look at existing data and just work it out and put the value in or put the data in just by manually looking at it. But we should be using a subquery because the data can change, of course. So anyway, before I start, I've got MariaDB open. I'm just gonna quickly create a table. It's a really simple little table: ID, name, and balance. That's it. Just for the example, the examples only use 2 fields, so I'm just going to paste that in there and set that up, and then I'm going to add some records. Worth remembering here, so I just noticed I've only included name and balance. That's because ID is auto-incrementing, and sometimes when you try to insert into a table and there's an auto-incrementing field, I've certainly experienced problems. It's best just to explicitly list the fields you're inserting into. You might remember from previous years that you can leave that blank, and that just means all of the fields. But I find it's generally best to avoid the auto-increment fields. Anyway, and remember you can add multiple things, or multiple sets of values. So let's just copy that in and paste that in. I'll stick this on the page so you can work through the same example if you want. There we go. And let's just check it's all there. Okay, what did I call it? Customer. Okay, all good. So let's move on to the first example. It's in your booklet. We're finding the names of customers with a balance above the average. Okay, so what do we need to know about this? We need to know what the average is. Now, I could get my calculator out and for these 11 records work out what the average is, but that would be kind of ridiculous. It might change, balances might change, data might change, records might be deleted or inserted, amended, whatever. So we need to find out what the average is. How do we do that? We use a simple query. So this is my solution. I seem to have ordered it by balance descending. Don't know why it didn't say to do that. But here's my solution. So I'm selecting names from customer where balance is greater than the average balance. And for that I'm using an aggregate function, and I can't include aggregate functions in the where clause. So I need a whole other query. So I think, what query would I use to find out what the average is? I would just select average of balance from customer. That's it. It's a simple query. It is higher level because it's using an aggregate function. It's a simple query. That will return what the average is, and this will effectively be replaced with the average. So the way subqueries work is this inner query, the subquery, is evaluated first, and then its result, or its result set, there might be several rows, that replaces this bracketed subquery right here. So it'll be comparing balance to whatever the result is. So let's just actually copy and paste that for a moment. Let's just do this little subquery just to see what result it gives. So 9.5455. So effectively, what this query is then going to do, what the outer query is going to do, is this, which you'll agree is actually just a nat5 level select query. Okay, that's not difficult, but that is just coming from the result subquery. What we might have been tempted to do, so the temptation is, if you don't know about subqueries and you don't know the difficulties, it's just to do that. And it doesn't work. It can't work this out in the where clause, and it's to do with the order in which the clauses are executed. So that just fails miserably. Okay, so let's actually try it, check it works, and that's it. I don't know that there's a great deal more to say about it, so I'm going to copy it in, paste it. So let's just, before I hit return, let's check what are we expecting. If the average is 9.5455, if you don't believe it, go and check it on a calculator. Then I'm expecting to see L. Evans, Dominic Howard, Chris Wolstenholme, Thurston Moore, and Mark Hoppus, but in a different order. There we go. Okay, hope that helps a little bit with your understanding. I'll go through in a couple of different videos, I'll go through a couple more examples. Okay, see ya.